It is showtime. Welcome back to Underdog Racing League. I am Chance Durheim. Tonight we have the Back of the Pack Designs 195 presented as always by Wild Bill's Soda. This is the final race of our regular season and there are two spots in the playoffs still up for grabs. Dakota Bly is up 42 points on the cut line. Noah Tansman up 38. They are both in, while Derek Riley minus 38 and Cody Dorsey minus 41 are both on the outside looking in. There are 8 drivers already locked into our 10-car playoff field. They are Jason Fensler, Dylan Zampa, Nick Gardner, Will Young, Jason Seams, Dylan Walterman, Jason Bottoms, and Jake Williams. For everyone else, though, a win tonight will send you into the playoffs. So while Bly and Tansman are safe for now, their season could change in an instant with one new winner. As far as the race tonight goes, it'll be 130 laps around this 1.5 mile speedway, with stage breaks at lap 35 and lap 70. Fuel run will be anywhere from 35 to 40 laps, and tire wear could be a problem. Seem to fall off about only 7 or 8 laps, so maybe that fuel window will get pushed a little further.
All right.
Also tonight, it is the Dash for Cash, the last one of the regular season. The highest finishing driver out of the 4 drivers, which I will bring up in a second, will be going to our finale at Las Vegas with a chance to win some extra money, and they'll get some extra tonight. But with that, let's get ready for Homestead, Miami. And we'll wait for the cars to get onto the grid for our Custom Ink starting lineup. I'm going to find our Dash for Cash as well. Jake Williams, Scott Kerberg, Matthew Young, and Cody Dorsey. They will be your 4 racing for the money tonight. But I want to bring up the Back of the Pack Creative Designs 195. Great logo from Dakota Bly. And, I mean, let's give a shout out to all the Back of the Pack drivers tonight. We have Jason Bottoms, Cody Dorsey, Corey Hassler, Dakota Bly, Will Young, and Noah Tansman. They are all Back of the Pack design cars. So when we go through the field here, take a look at them and see how well they look. But with that, let's go to our Custom Ink starting lineup. Starting on the pole tonight is the number 1 of Dylan Zampa. Starting outside row 1, just as he was many times last week, is Will Young, piloting the 68 machine. Starting third will be the 2 of Chase Durheim. 4th, Jason Seams in the 81. 5th will be Nick Gardner, driving the number 27, and Ryan Seams will be outside row 3. Starting 7th, Jason Fensler in the number 15. Points leader has that regular season championship locked up going into tonight. Dylan Walterman will start 8th in the number 16 machine. And here's our first bubble driver, Cody Dorsey, driving the number 9, starting 9th. And just to his outside, the guy he's racing to get in, Derek Riley. Go quick here. We've got Corey Hassler in the 25. He's going to the back. Jake Williams in the 29 will start 12th. Brad Ringer, 13th. David Coley, 14th. 15th is Matthew Young. Marshall Wilson is 16th. Jason Bottoms, 17th. Dakota Bly, 18th. Stephen Horner, 19th. Scott Kerberg, 20th. Scott Milner, 21st. Justin Sternard, 22nd. And then Noah Tansman, back of the field, starting from the pits. So he'll be one to keep an eye on as we go deep into the night. But the pace car is about to make the left-hand turn. There he goes, and we are ready to go racing at Homestead. Green flag is out. Zampa with a good jump. Durheim as well. 1-2 will be 1-2 going into turn 1 and turn 2. Zampa all clear as well as Durheim as they scream off of turn 2. Normally in real life, you see all the drivers go about as high as they can go and just rip the fence at Homestead, but in iRacing it's a little different. That bottom line, especially for saving tires, is often the optimal way around. Really loose off of 2. The 60 to Alterman going for a ride to the inside. He corrals it, and we stay green. Go back to the battle between Young and Seams. Jason Seams all but completed that move right there. We'll take off that top right flag logo. Thought that would go better. I guess it doesn't make it the best when we're under green. Jason Seams just set the fastest lap of the race last time by. Here's Chase Durheim trying to run down Dylan Zampa. So Noah Tansman, he started from the pits and not going to qualifying lap down. He is on the back straightaway right now, just entering turn 3, so wouldn't expect pit stops during stage 1 here, or stage 2. Driver should be able to make the fuel last just a little bit. They will have to stretch it certainly, but should be able to get it done. And still, it's the 1 and the 2 running 1-2. See how much patience these drivers have throughout the race tonight. Chase is not going to be racing in the playoffs, just missed too many races. So this is just kind of for fun for him. He has no reason to take it easy, so told me pre-race that he will be aggressive. But so far we haven't seen that just yet. Here he goes up top. And Zampa just looks like he's going to be trying to run it consistently around that white line on the bottom. Durheim is all over him. Zampa, a little loose. The bumper from Durheim. But no blood drawn. Durheim goes half a lane up, now a full lane into that middle. Just nowhere to go just yet. We'll go off the nose of Chase. If these guys battle a little too much, Jason Seams could bring himself into the fight. Eric Riley 9th, Cody Dorsey 11th. Both of those guys are going to need some stage points if they want to have a shot at making the playoffs without a win. I think that's really the only way they can do it. If they don't get 9 or 10, I'd say they're all but eliminated after stage 1. See Chase just trying to alter his line just a little bit. I think he knows that the top is not where you want to be, but he also doesn't want to follow directly in the wake of Zampa. Everybody running fairly clean so far. Nothing really to report deeper in the field. think if either Dorsey or Riley do not finish 5th or better in this stage, they will need to win and get in. And even if they finish 5th, they'll have to win the next stage and finish, I believe, 2nd, while Tansman finishes last. So not looking great for either of those drivers. Zampa's pulled away from Durheim just a little bit here. Now up to about a 3/10 of a second advantage. About 5 car lengths. And Zampa, as we've seen all season, is just so consistent. Nothing really ever rattles the driver of the one, and always puts himself in the best position to succeed, especially late in these runs. He and Jason Fensler have been the best at that all season. As we see Fensler trying to make a move on Jason Seams for 3rd. Fensler has a good run off. Gonna look to the inside of Jason Seams. They'll go side by side into turn 3. Like Seams maybe got a little tight, had to get off the throttle, bring it down off the wall, and that's going to give Jason Fensler the position. Only 2 of the 3 Seams drivers here tonight. Nicholas Seams out, driver the 82, but Ryan Seams running back there in 8th. This was the closest action I think we've got on track back here. Justin Stenard trying to hold off Marshall Wilson and Jake Williams. That is for 15th position. We'll go back up to Fensler, Seams, and Young. Will Young looking to the inside. And still just... I'm very surprised at the fact that the inside line is the dominant line here. So we see Jason Bottoms way off the pace, heavy damage. Now looking to go a lap down in the Machine Gun Kelly machine. So it is also our music themed race, but seems like this one had one of the fewest turnouts that we've seen, but Bottoms going a lap down early with heavy damage. We'll see if he just tries to nurse this thing around until the end of the stage. I fear he may go another lap down. He's about 3 seconds off the pace. He's going to stay on the racetrack, though. We're going to stay along with him. This was not a good start from Bottoms. We saw he had been passed by Tansman, and I don't know if this was damage that occurred immediately in the race, which is why he's been off the pace, or if he's just had a wickedly handling race car all race. As he gets into the wall again, tries to drag it off. Move up a little bit. Dylan Walterman trying to get by Nick Gardner. This is for 6th position on track. It seems like all the drivers running the bottom are the fastest. You can see guys run on the top. They get a little bit of a run off corner exit, but I don't know if maybe later in the run we'll see the top kind of come in. That's supposed to be one of the new and improved features of iRacing, but we'll see if it actually works in practice. Gardner way up high, Walterman way down low. This is always one of my favorite races of the season. As Walterman gets by him, is he clear? Yes. Walterman up 2-6. Gardner fighting back though. Oh, gives him a shove down the back straightaway. I don't think that had any malicious intent, but set the 16 for a little bit of a ride down the back. Not the first time we've seen that tonight though. So Jason Bottoms, he is all the way back in turns 3 and 4 right now. Still way off the pace and getting passed by teammate Dakota Bly. Stage is at lap 35. I mean, at this point, you probably just got to stay out, but I think he's wishing he would have came down earlier. So check on our race leader, out to a 1.5 second advantage with nobody really near him. See Jason Fensler up there riding the top line. Chase Durheim still around the bottom. But Zampa being as consistent as ever. We have Durheim trying to hold off Fensler, Young, and then Jason Seams is that next bright orange car in the back there. That is your top 5. Normally we do this a little later in the race, but I think we're going to do a little crank it up early on in stage 1. We'll come back here as we have some incredible racing deep in the field. This is the back of the pack, Creative Designs 195. The back of the pack is putting on the best show tonight. Cody Dorsey leading a brigade of about 6 drivers back here, all fighting for position. Dorsey gets into the wall there. And we'll go off the rear bumper. Hassler all over Dorsey. He had to start at the back because of penalty. Corey Hassler. As he goes to the inside. These cars are wiggling up and down the straightaway. Hassler moves up into... Jake Williams almost loses it. Up into 12th. Jake Williams with some left side damage. I don't even know how that happens. Unless he just walloped Jason Bottoms, because he's one of the only drivers I've seen with right side damage. Bottoms is real slow again. As everybody up here trying to ride the fence. And you're not missing anything up front. This is the closest and the best battle we've got on track right now. Brad Ringer and Ryan Seams are trying to prove me wrong. We'll go take a look at that one. Side by side for 9th. Got 6 laps to go in stage 1. Dylan Zamp out to a commanding 3.1 second advantage over Chase Durheim, Jason Fensler, and Will Young. Your top 4. Ringer moves by Mr. Seams up into 9th. Derek Riley having a good run right now. Just not going to be good enough if he wants to point his way in. 8th will not be enough in stage 1 here, but remember, he can still go win this race and knock out either Noah Tansman or Dakota Bly. Maybe a battle brewing between Will Young and Jason Fensler. We'll see. Doesn't look like it. Nick Gardner, Jason Seams, though. That is a battle that is brewing. Seams started up in position number 4. Now trying to hold on to 6th. Not fall back to 7th. Gardner's still riding that bottom. Trying to find a way on by Jason Seams. He's going to tuck in here and try to get a little bit of that draft as we go down the long back straightaway. Noah Tansman has gone 1 lap down here. And we're going to switch to Dylan Zampa because this is a pretty big battle right here. Steven Horner now going a lap down. And Scott Kerberg could be next. So Jason Bottoms was looking like he was going to be the free pass, but now with 2 laps to go, 2 other drivers have gone laps down, and his day has gone from bad to worse. Bottoms is probably the fan favorite in the chat, at least the one I see the most. Today, just not his day, though. Luckily for him, he's already locked into the playoffs with his win at Atlanta. And now Scott Kerberg goes a lap down on the final lap of stage 1. But a dominating performance by Dylan Zampa. He was about a 10th off of Chase Durheim in practice. I really wasn't expecting a dominating performance out of any driver in stage 1, but Zampa, with a 5-second advantage, will win stage 1. Durheim will cross the line second. Then Fensler, Young, Walterman, Seams, Gardner, Riley, Ringer, and David Cooley, who is just coming across the line now. And there's the caution. All 10 or the top 10 drivers need to cross the start-finish line as long as they're on the lead lap. And it would be all lead lap drivers have to cross the finish line. And then the caution comes out. And something to look for here is we could have some fuel issues. And we do. Chase Durheim heading onto a closed pit road. He doesn't think he has enough fuel to make it all the way around. So he's going to come down. I don't know if anybody else will. But this will have him starting at the end of the longest line when we take the green flag for stage 2. So, and it looks like he just coasted his way into his box there. So, I don't know if he just didn't save fuel and everybody else did. But we'll catch the rest of them coming down pit road here. Remember, this is our Admin Box yellow flag. Thank you to Admin Box for being our newest URL sponsor. So Zampa under no real pressure here, obviously. Has the first pit stall. Way ahead of everybody else. Four tires I would expect for just about everybody. And away Zampa goes. Dakota Bly stayed on the racetrack. What is his thinking there? At least it's showing he stayed on the racetrack. Now he's looking to come down this lap, so I wonder if he was going to come down and top off anyway, so he just stayed an extra lap out there. I don't know. Could be the case. But while we're under yellow here, we're going to hear from Admin Box for the first time tonight. Thank you, Admin Box. We got one lap to green here. And one driver going all the way to the back. That is Chase Durheim. Jason Fensler also dropping a few positions. I don't know what happened on his pit stop. Maybe he came down to top off on fuel. No, that can't be the case. I don't know, but we're one lap to green here, and things seem a little messed up. And we are going to delay the green flag here for one more lap. So we try to get things sorted out. Drivers are still trying to catch up. Scott Kerberg's just exiting turn 2 right now. So one more lap around, and then we will take the green flag. A very exciting race deeper in the field. Up front, though, Dylan Zampa has kind of stunk up the show. Won that stage 1 by 5 seconds, and he has no competitors around him. Jason Fensler, Chase Durheim, Will Young, that were near him at the start. I wonder if those guys just had to tow to their box, because Will Young is now a lap down. So yeah, those guys, we were talking about Chase Durheim. Him not having enough fuel. He came down on lap 37. But all these other guys, Fensler had to crawl to his box. Same with Will Young. A lot of these guys just didn't save enough fuel, and it ended up having them not be able to get to their box. And for Will Young, he went a lap down. Pace car's off though, and we are ready to go green with a very mixed up field here. Zampa is away. Some problems a little bit deeper in the field. Stephen Horner didn't seem to get going very well. Looks like he's all good now. Zampa out to an advantage, and look who it is. Derek Riley. Really the guy we've talked about maybe the most the last 2 weeks. He was on the bubble last week, or he's been on the bubble for 2 weeks. Last week he had a very good run at Auto Club. This week he's up to 4th. Now I think he is officially eliminated as far as pointing his way in. Or at least he would need to win this stage and finish second in the race. But he could just win the dang thing. Right now running 4th. Trying to hold off Ryan Seams and Marshall Wilson. Marshall Wilson himself, he's up 10 spots from the start of the race. And if he wins, he's in as well. Chase Durheim, way off the pace. Came down on lap 42. He had to take a pass-through penalty for pitting early under the yellow flag. That is a new rule after, I believe it might have been Richmond, maybe Chicagoland. One of our races we had some drivers come down early, and it actually ended up being an advantage. So Chase had to come down, serve a pass-through penalty after the green flag, and looks like he won't go a lap down, but he is far off the pace. He certainly could fall a lap down. Dylan Zampa is only 6.4 seconds behind Chase, so we'll see. Nick Gardner, he is looking to make a move on Dylan Zampa. And this is kind of expected from Dylan. He is saving his tires while everybody else is really pushing their cars right now. So, while it may look close for now, I think the telltale sign will be how can Nick Gardner hang with Zampa on the long run. Gardner sticking with Zampa for now. Derek Riley holding on to 4th, our highest win in year in driver. And then our Dash for Cash guys, that's Cody Dorsey, Matthew Young, Scott Kerberg, and Jake Williams. Right now it looks like Cody Dorsey is the highest running out of those drivers. Ryan Seams, Dylan Walterman. They're side by side for 6th. You see Will Young there, 1 lap down. This is big for Will to stay at least close to the front of this pack, because we saw on the last stage that a couple drivers got lapped right at the end, and it caused Noah Tanz and Jason Bottoms not to get their free pass. So if Will can stay up at least near the leader, he might be able to pass someone if they get lapped near the end of this. Noah Tanzman's out of this race, and while I think he's safe, I could be wrong, I suppose. If Derek Riley can get up there and lead a lap, he might have a shot. But yeah, it is a 38-point deficit that he has to make up. So I don't know if that's doable or not. Up front, Nick Gardner still hounding Dylan Zampa. And Gardner's really been an under-the-radar driver all season. I think up until the last week or two, he has been second in points just about all season. But he never really gets talked about. Which, I mean, I say that as if somebody else is in charge of talking about everybody. But, no, he always runs around, let's say, about 3rd to 8th every race. And he's so consistent, rarely gets himself in trouble, and locked himself in with a win at Indianapolis. We'll see if he can get another one here at Homestead. We are now 14 laps into this run, and Gardner's still hanging with Zampa. I would have expected him to kind of fall off by now, but he's still running well, still staying right on that bumper, not giving an inch. And Gardner trying a lot of the same things Chase Surheim did. Moving up half a lane and trying to move around to find speed. And I think that's where Zampa is going to get his long run speed. Dylan doesn't have to move. He can just stick around that white line every corner, save his tires, and keep on moving. It's up to the drivers behind to try to find a way around the driver of the one. And when you move around, you heat up those tires just a little bit more, aggravate them just a little bit more, and it adds up certainly over a 35-lap run. And now you see Gardner down to 4/10 back. Like I might turn into 5. So we're going to use this to take a look at some of the back of the pack creative designed cars of the day. Race obviously sponsored by Back of the Pack Designs. Here's the first one, Jason Bottoms. He got quite a bit of camera time early on. Now he has that car fixed up. Running a little bit more on pace in that Machine Gun Kelly number 5. And we have Cody Dorsey driving the 9 machine. Using that bluish green machine. And we have at the 25, Corey Hassler. Another Back of the Pack Designs car. We've seen that 25 for a few years now in URL. Then we have the 58. We already got one comment about it. A beautiful 58 machine from the man himself, Dakota Bly. I'd consider him the head honcho of Back of the Pack Creative Designs. I could be wrong, but I feel confident in saying that. Now we have the 66 of Noah Tansen, who we saw a couple times earlier, but he is off the track. We won't be able to see him. Now we got the number 68 Wild Bills machine. We've seen Will Young drive all season. So a lot of good machines out there from these guys, and great to have them as a sponsor of tonight's race. Cody Dorsey, Brad Ringer getting into a little bit of a tussle for 11th. I think if you're any of these guys not in the playoffs and you really want to make the playoffs, you got to start thinking some strategy here. Not really going to be able to do anything in stage 2 here as we end in just 12 laps at lap 70. But you just got to think, how can I get off sequence from the leaders? What can I do to separate myself from all the drivers who are leading all the laps up front? Bad Ringer tagged the wall a little bit there. Looks like he's all good. See, a lot of times off the corner, cars are kind of diving down off corner exit. Just a symptom of a loose race car. These guys trying to catch the slides that their cars are taking, and Homestead is a very tough track for that. Now we see Scott Milner trying to make a move on Cody Dorsey. Derek Riley trying to hold on to 6th position. Little crossover move on Ryan Seams. Oh, a contact between the two orange machines. Riley trying to hold on to this position. He was as high as 4th in stage 2. Now has fallen back to 7th. Trying to stop some of the bleeding. Almost had Seams clear there, but Ryan fighting back on the outside. Has been side by side for about 3 laps now. Riley has him clear there. Will Seams have a run off the corner? He will. He'll go to the inside as he's slipping and sliding off turn 4. Now Seams is going to be the one who tries to slide up in front. Riley sticks that thing next to the fence. Let's it rip. And he'll clear Ryan Seams into turn 3. Now Ryan going to take a crack at it. He'll go from the middle to the bottom. As Riley slides up, Seams stays down. He has a run. Doesn't look like he'll make a move, though. Great battle so far between these two. I think at 1 and 2, Derek Riley's found a lot of speed up near the wall. 3 and 4, maybe not so much, but we're going to see Ryan Seams attempt it up top. Ooh, Jake Williams just behind. Gave the wall a little smack. So coming to 5 laps to go in stage 2. Dylan Zampa, your leader. Up to a 3/10 of a second advantage over Nick Gardner in second. I think officially Dylan Zampa has not led every lap of this race. I think Dakota Bly might have led 1. Oh, Dakota Bly might be a genius. You get 1 bonus point for leading a lap. And I think that's why he stayed out 1 extra there. So he could, under that last caution, he stayed out, grabbed an extra point, and I don't think it's going to matter in the end, but, I mean, heads up strategy call by Dakota. We've seen it all season from the 58 machine. Ryan Seams, we last saw him battling with Derek Riley. Now falling back a little bit. Jake Williams trying to make a move on him. We see a little something up front as well. Jason Seams closing down on Nick Gardner. This has been happening just a little bit over the last few laps. Coming to 2 laps to go in stage 2. 1 extra point up for grabs here if Seams can get by Gardner. Seams off the throttle very early. You see Gardner maybe overcooked it a little there. Slid up in the middle of the corner. Here's Jason Seams. All over the back bumper on the final lap of stage 2. He looked to the outside, maybe tagged the wall a little bit, looked to the inside. Now he's going to go right back behind. Both drivers on the bottom. Seams has a run. Can he make it stick out of turn 4? Nick Gardner will take home second place in stage 2, followed by Jason Seams. Dylan Zampa, of course, your stage winner, 4 seconds up the road. Justin Stenard, your last one. In the top 10, he'll cross the line, and that will be the end of stage numero dos. With that, let's hear from Wild Bill's Soda.
You're looking mighty thirsty. Wild Bill's, pure cane sugar, old-fashioned sodas.
Thank you to Wild Bill's Soda for being the presenting sponsor of each and every Underdog Racing League event. Everybody going to come down pit road here. I wouldn't expect there to be fuel issues as this stage was a little bit shorter just with the way the cautions line up. But Zampa will lead everybody down. Get to see a lot of the pit boards and the pit signs there. Will Young with the minion on his. I don't know whose that was. Had some sort of band on theirs. Everybody down pit road except Will Young, who is taking the free pass. Dylan Zampa wins the race off pit road. Jason Seams lost a few positions on that one. This is an admin box yellow. I forgot to bring it up because we haven't had an actual yellow flag here tonight other than the stage breaks. So something that was almost a bit of a problem earlier in the year has changed drastically. I don't know if it's our updated penalties, changes in the rule book, or changes in the tracks. I don't know, but not a single caution for cause tonight. Only the stage yellows. So lineup looks to be Zampa, Gardner, Fensler, Walterman, Riley, Seams, Williams, Wilson, Stenard, and then Ryan Seams in 10th. And this will all kind of change up as we go here, but should be your top 10. We'll see if we go green here. Will Young and Scott Kerberg are on pit road currently. So we'll see how that works. Will came down on lap 73. Is he just coming to top off? No, he's changing some tires. I don't know why he came back down pit road, but lights are on the pace car. Says we're 1 lap to green. I would expect us to go here. Will Young is going to have to hustle off of pit road. He's out now, as well as Scott, but we are going green, and Zampa is away. Zampa with a clean jump, and for the first time tonight, Jason Fensler has entered the top 2. By his standards, I'd say it's probably been a pretty disappointing day for Jason. Hasn't led a lap. Started a little deeper in the field back in 7th, but here he is. Back up to 2nd. Caution is out. Just as I said, we weren't having any. And it is Justin Stenard. Hard into the wall. Let's take a look at what happened from the drop of the green. So Stenard was here in 10th. And these cars I've seen have been very slippery, very loose on these restarts. We'll see what happened. Trying to get by Jake Williams on his inside. Gets into the wall a little bit, gets stuck in the wall, tries to rip it off, and that thing just slides. He corrects into the wall. No. Cody Dorsey is involved. And if you're wondering why that's funny, Cody, I think, just about every single race this year has found himself in a wreck that is just not his fault at all. We actually messaged a little bit this season, or this last week, about how it just happens every week. And we can go look at it one more time. Let's go on board with Cody Dorsey, actually. I mean, he's just driving around, man. It's insane. Like, he can't even see Justin Stenard at that point. Can't even see him. Look at it. He's hidden behind David Cooley. Stenard just overcorrects, gets into the wall. And Dorsey is damaged. We'll go back live, though. Dakota Bly opting to come down pit road. I think he had a little bit of damage as well from that incident. Cody Dorsey and Bly look to be the only two opting to come down pit road here. It makes sense that was really only 1 lap in, but usually you see some guys come down and top off. Maybe they will a little later. 2 guys this is big for, though. Chase Durheim, you saw him almost get involved in that incident. And then Will Young, who we saw trying to exit the pits as quickly as he could. And Scott Kerberg, for that matter. So those, at least for Young and Kerberg, they were in a really bad spot. Durheim was just kind of behind the 8 ball ever since the end of stage 1 when he had to come down pit road 1 lap early. But we are 1 lap to green. It's going to be Zampa and Fensler, your front row. Where have we seen this before? It'll be Zampa, Fensler, Walterman, Gardner, Seams, your top 5. And there's Derek Riley, Marshall Wilson, those two lurking. If they win, they are in the Underdog Racing League playoffs. And Noah Tansman would be out. Good jump for Zampa, though. He is clear into turn 1. As well as Fensler, Gardner, Walterman, Seams, and Riley. One car spinning down the back. Is that Will Young? Is that Brad Ringer? That's Brad Ringer. Heavy damage. We'll go back to the start here. Take a look at what happened. And no caution, by the way. We stay green. Ringer maybe got tagged from Durheim there. It didn't look like there was actual contact. If so, it might have been netcode. I do want to clear this up really quick if we can. See if there's contact or not here. Oh, nope, that's a bump. That is a bump from Durheim. And Ringer's race is all but over. We said Chase was going to be aggressive, and right there he turned a perfectly good race car into a pretty well destroyed one. Up front, though, Zampa, Fensler, top 2. It looks like maybe the pace between these two has picked up a little bit because Nick Gardner was able to stay right on the bumper of Dylan Zampa for the first about 10 to 15 laps last run. This time, it's a new challenger. It's Jason Fensler. Brad Ringer has officially exited his race car. He is out of the pack of the pack. Creative Designs 195. This last stage is when the strategy will start, though. 48 laps to go. Fuel run is anywhere from 35 to 40 if you really want to stretch it. I think we'll see our first taker within about 15 to 20 laps. I think for some drivers, the best strategy might be run this thing as hard as you can right now, come down early, and see what you can do. But I think if you're Derek Riley, Marshall Wilson, the two main guys that are fighting to win their way into the playoffs, I think they should run long. If you run long, you give yourself a chance to maybe trap one of the leaders a lap down. You can kind of build your own luck that way. If you're one of the faster cars, maybe you come down a little early, split it in to 2 even runs, and maximize your speed that way. But Riley just got by Dylan Walterman. Fortunately, Chase Durheim is right on him. He's got to hold him off. And Derek, I think, is another driver that just hasn't had luck go his way this year. Similar to Cody Dorsey, and just things haven't really gone his way. And that's fitting for two drivers that are always in the chat together every week. And you can throw Scott Gerberg as well, their third driver. I mean, Scott is usually, well, he is one of, if not the cleanest driver out here. But he's been just caught up in some other people's messes as well. Durheim to the inside at Eric Riley. Riley's really got that top figured out, it looks like. I haven't really seen anybody else use it as well as he does, especially in 1 and 2. And then 3 and 4, he's able to go down, protect the bottom. And you think, why can't, if he's running up high in turns 1 and 2, why doesn't he just do the same thing in 3 and 4 if it's working? The turns here are just a little bit different. If you've ever raced here on iRacing, I think you would find that off of turn 4, it just becomes a little treacherous, and oftentimes drivers opt to run on the bottom. Sorry. We're going to go back a previous lap here, and let's just watch Dylan Zampa. So we have something brewing. Dylan, driving, going along smoothly. Still going well, and gone. I'm going to check the official thing. It doesn't say... Oh, there it is. Dylan Zampa. We'll call it an engine failure. But officially, just disconnected, lagged out of the race, and that's going to give the lead to Jason Fensler on a day where it wasn't looking like it was his day for Mr. 15. He's out front with his biggest competitor now out of the race. I mean, that is just tragic for Dylan Zampa. He has led every green flag lap of this thing. And just like that, boom, race over. And I always say this when something like this happens. We don't have blown engines. We don't have flat tires unless you really kind of abuse your tire. Those things happen in real life, but in the sim world, we have this. We have your internet just going out, and it's... I equate it a lot to a blown engine. If you have really good internet, the best internet out there, or if you have a really good engine, you're probably not going to blow your engine. But if you kind of have something unstable, you just don't have the best stuff, sometimes it'll just go out. But I mean, you guys know, you guys are watching this on the internet. Internet can go out at any time, even if you got the best stuff out there. So I believe that's the first time we've seen that all season from Zampa. And yeah, his race is over. Eric Riley riding the wall. Jay Durheim moved himself up to 4th. Nick Gardner now. He feels he may have some life. Same with Jason Seams. That last run, Seams was the fastest out of all three of these guys, I'd say. Gardner finished second in the stage. Seams third. Fensler fourth. But Jason Seams, towards the end of that run, was certainly the best out of the three. He was running down Nick Gardner, just wasn't able to find a way by. So with 37 laps to go, I think first off, strategy is going to be the biggest factor, but who can make their car run the best on the long run here? If you're Derek Riley, Marshall Wilson, Matthew Young, Scott Milner, even Cody Dorsey, any of these guys still in the lead lap who have not won a race this year, they've got life as well. The dominant driver of the day is now out, and while they may not have the pace themselves, one lucky strategy move could make them winners and into the playoffs. And I love these strategy races. I love talking strategy. It's usually my favorite part about these races, especially one like today where it is a little bit difficult to pass. The race has been a little spread out. Strategy is the great equalizer. I think if you're one of these drivers who's locked in the playoffs, you're running well, just split it in half, get on with your day, and go try to win it. Because, I mean, we've had one caution, and it was directly after a stage caution, so I wouldn't bank on there being a caution. But if you're someone who needs to win, you gotta throw everything at it. You gotta try some alternate strategy. And I think the way you do that is by running long. We are now within the fuel window, so we'll see if anybody decides to come down. Durham, I don't know if he threw a block on Walterman. I was too busy talking strategy. It was just a fight for the bottom right there. Walterman backed off. Walterman looking inside again, just can't get his nose in there just yet. Jason Fensler has extended his lead out to 1.5 seconds over Nick Gardner. It's been consistently just a little bit faster than Nick Gardner, but see if he's able to hold on. Oh, Chase Durheim. He's going to be the first one down. Nope. Oh, my. That's why. We were not caught up live. Sorry, folks. I went back and was watching the Brad Ringer Chase Durheim incident. We weren't caught up live there for a bit, but really no harm, no foul. It just messed with me more than anything. But Chase Durheim going to be our first driver to come down pit road. So I think we were a little bit off from the Dylan Zampa incident where he lagged out. Zampa's back, though. 9 laps down. I don't know if he's on track. Yes, he is. In front of Steven Horner and I believe Jason Bottoms. So Durheim, first one to come down. It's going to be about a 25-lap run he just ran on his tires there. And now he's got a 30-lap run till the finish. Everybody else up front, though, staying out. We'll check the lap times here. So Jason Fensler that last lap, 34.458. Jason Seams, 34.450. Nick Gardner, 34.618. And then next time by, Chase Durheim will run his first lap. And we will see the difference between new and old tires. Jason Seams and Jason Fensler are running very similar laps. But Chase Durheim, who came down to pit, is about a second better on those fresher tires. Will Young came down as well, it looks like. He came down 1 lap earlier than Chase. He's about 1.8 seconds behind him. We saw some chat from someone there. See if anybody new decides to come down pit road. It's going to be Derek Riley. All right. He sees other drivers going long. He's going to go short pit this time. And I said it, I think he should run long, but, you know, this isn't the worst strategy as long as those guys in front of him do run for a few more laps here. If they come down this next lap, then I think it's not going to be great. Now, of course, if a caution comes out, he's on the lead lap. Anything can happen from that point on, but we'll see right here. Derek Riley just exiting pit road. He's going to be behind Chase Durheim, even behind Will Young. It was a 31-second stop for Derek, so I think he may have taken 2 tires there. But I can't be certain. And it doesn't make sense that he took 2 tires, that he's this far behind these guys, but that's what the timer is showing me. Fensler, Gardner, Seams still out there trucking along. Dakota Bly down pit road. Is this the lap for Jason Fensler? It is. Chase Durheim goes on by right there, as do Gardner and Seams. So Jason Fensler looking to complete his stop. To see Dakota Bly, Jake Williams coming down pit road just behind. And the green flag pit stops are fully underway now, since the leader came down. Corey Hassler down pit road. Leaves about 9 drivers still out there running. And one of these guys has to run long here, you'd think. So Jason Fensler just exiting pit road. Chase Durheim already exiting turn 2. So did Jason Fensler run too long there? It's going to end up about 5 seconds behind Chase Durheim. We'll see if he can run him down. Obviously, Fensler now has the advantage with 7 lap fresher tires over 23 laps. Both drivers took 4 tires. We'll see what happens here. Will Young, he's in front of Fensler as well. Jason Seams now down pit road. Just exiting. So it leaves Nick Gardner, David Cooley, Ryan Seams, Cody Dorsey, and Scott Kerberg still out there. Love this from Cody Dorsey. Have to try something. You need to win at this point, and maybe if you can trap a couple guys behind you, get a lucky yellow, you can keep going. Now he's going to have to come down within probably the next 3 laps here. Gardner, Cooley, and Seams, I think they're going to have to come down within 1 or 2. They're just about at the end of their fuel window. But let's go check the eventual battle for the lead. Fensler has cut the lead down to 3.9 seconds from Chase Durheim. And he's got to get by Will Young as well. Young is certainly not out of it. Came down 1 lap earlier than Durheim, and you see the fresher tires. Fensler is right on Will Young's tail. David Cooley down pit road in the number 20. He pits from 3rd place. Now is when Gardner, Seams, Dorsey, they need that caution. Everybody from 8th on back is trapped a lap down. And Nick Gardner's really helping out Cody Dorsey by staying on the racetrack if a caution comes out, because he's trapping a ton of drivers down as well. So Nick Gardner only has a 24-second advantage over eventual 2nd place Chase Durheim. And it's about a 40-second trot just down pit road itself, so he's going to certainly lose the lead. See what happens from here, though. Gardner down. Dorsey can go a few more, I would expect. And then he's got to come get service as well. But right now, it's Chase Durheim and Jason Fensler. But Fensler is closing quick. Now, luckily for Chase, about 7 or 8 laps is when the tires really fall off. So if maybe those tires can even out, he's got a shot. But that last lap, he was 5/10 slower than Jason Fensler. Dorsey still on the racetrack. Has surrendered the lead to Chase Durheim, but has not come down pit road just yet. Cue the Jaws theme. 17 to go. Fensler really just needs to be about 1/10 of a second better each lap here, as he's 1.4 behind. But last lap it was 5/10. We'll see what it is this time. Last lap was even worse for Durheim. If he wants to win this race, he needs a caution. Or something to happen to Jason Fensler in the 15. And maybe Chase is saving his stuff and thinks he might have something for him if he gets there, but that is not what I would anticipate. Down to a 7/10 of a second advantage. That time it was only about 3/10. Fensler cut off, but I mean, even at that pace, it won't be close. And he is right there. See Corey Hassler here. He's trying to get back on the lead lap. He pitted about 7 laps later than Durheim as well. He's going to go on by. And now Fensler is there. See if he rattles his cage a little, or if he just goes right on by down low. Durheim outside, Fensler inside, battle for the race lead. And Jason Fensler takes that easily. And he goes up into the race lead. Now, no real need to push it and get himself into an incident with Corey Hassler here, but I think Jason would like to have as many cars to lap down as he can. This was maybe a battle going on track, but not really. It's not the closest thing we got. We'll check on Dakota Bly. Scott Milner. Not a whole lot there. Let's go on board with our race leader for a few laps. Remember, the Dash for Cash is also tonight. Jake Williams right now is the leader for that, up in 7th position. Scott Kerberg, Matthew Young, Cody Dorsey, they are all trying to chase him down. Smoke on the track. Stephen Horner slow down low, but it will not bring out a caution, just as it did not bring out a caution earlier for Brad Ringer. So heavy damage for Stephen Horner. He's going to stay on the racetrack. That could cause some problems. I mean, right out front of Jason Fensler, he sees that. Heart probably sank to the floor. But again, no caution. We stay green. So our top five is Fensler, Durheim, Seams, Young, and Walterman, with Nick Gardner running sixth. The last of the guys to pit, Jason Bottom, slow on the backstretch. What is the deal? Again, a slow car. But no caution. Chase Durheim in Suckett is probably irate right now, wondering how none of these have been caution flags. And Bottom's going to stay on the racetrack. Here's Stephen Horner, still with his damaged race car. This is insane. Coming to 7 laps to go this time. Fensler's just trying to get to the end. So we come to the end of our regular season here. I would feel wrong if I did not point out the incredible season that Jason Fensler has had. Up to this point, if he wins tonight, that would be his 7th win on the season. And even tonight, it didn't look like it was his night from the start. 4th in Stage 2, 3rd in Stage 1. He's kind of hanging around the top, or towards the front of the field, which he always does, but it just didn't seem like the race winning speed was there. But once Dylan Zampa had his issue disconnected, it was all Jason Fensler from that point on. Just had to come down, split that last stage in half, and then outrun the likes of Durheim, Seams, Nick Gardner, Will Young, Dylan Walterman. And he has done that. And he's managed to slap traffic very well. Also. And just let them go on by, knows they're not a fight. But also kept up the pace himself. Oh. Hassler with a moment. But yeah, just a dominant regular season. Jason Fensler going to have a ton of playoff points to work with. It would be almost impossible, I'd say, for him not to make it to the Championship 4 at Las Vegas. But, I mean, he would have to miss a race, have 2 races go really bad. I don't know. He's going to have a lot of bonus points to work with, at least. But coming to 3 laps to go this time by. Fensler all alone. Jason Seams is going to look to get by Chase Durheim for second. Keep it on these guys, at least till the final lap. Durheim on much older tires. Seams came in 8 laps later. Then Chase going to look to the inside here. And he got the move done. Jason Seams up into second position. Good run for Jason. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like the last few races haven't been the best for Jason Seams. And since he's been in the fold here, he's been very, very good, very competitive. But now getting back into the top 3, and we'll hear from him after the race tonight. But coming to the white flag, it is Jason Fensler with a 2.4 second advantage over Jason Seams. And again, a dominating performance for Jason Fensler. Dakota Bly, Noah Tansman are going to make their way into the playoffs, even though there were some valiant efforts from Derek Riley and Cody Dorsey. Riley finishing 12th. That doesn't feel like the position he deserved, but coming out of turn 4, it is going to be Jason Fensler picking up win number 7 on the season and having great momentum with 2 wins in a row as we head into the playoffs next week at Michigan. Another victory for the driver of the 15. Jason Seams will settle for second. Chase Durheim third. Nick Gardner comes home fourth. Will Young, 5th position. Dylan Walterman 6th. Marshall Wilson with a good run there in 7th. Jake Williams wins Dash for Cash back in 8th. 9th place is David Cooley in his return. Feel like we haven't seen David in a while. Glad to see him here. Scott Milner rounds out your top 10 as the number 31 machine. We have Matthew Young finishing 11th. Dakota Bly, good run, 12th. Derek Riley comes home 13th. Corey Hassler is 14th as Dylan Zampa tries to crash his teammates' parade here. Feels he probably deserved a race win at the end of the day. Cody Dorsey comes home 15th. Scott Kerberg 16th. 17th, Justin Stannard. 18th, Stephen Horner. Jason Bottoms comes home 19th. Dylan Zampa, a disappointing 20th place. Ryan Seams, Brad Ringer, Noah Tansman, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. All bowed out early. We got Chase Durheim waiting to be called upon. Let's go bring him in. Hey, Chase, you got me?
Yep, I gotcha.
3rd place on the night. Wasn't what you were looking for, but after your debacle of strategy in stage 1, is it something you'll take?
Yeah, I don't know. I was really excited for this race. This is a fun track, but I am utterly shocked at how horrible these cars performed on this track in a pack. It was so tight. If you didn't have clean air, it was just so hard to pass. So, yeah, I'm frustrated that I completely screwed myself over in the first stage. I didn't even pay attention to my fuel until it was too late. And then I had to pit early, and the pits were closed, and then, yeah, our league has a special rule where you get penalized extra for doing that. I'm not really sure why. I think end of the line is plenty penalty enough for that, but those are the rules. I broke them, and yeah, just a horrible, horrible night of strategy. Completely ruined the night.
I think one of our races, somehow people gained an advantage by pitting early, so I think that's why that's in place. That was changed recently, but yeah. You were at the wrong end of that one. What was your strategy in the last stage there? You came down early. Was that kind of just hoping you would get up front and get a caution, or?
Yeah, it was just kind of a Hail Mary. I didn't think if it went green it would really work, although it was closer than I thought it would be. I was just trying to sneak down pit road without anybody knowing, and then everybody run for another 5 or 6 laps, and then, yeah, hopefully catch a caution when I was leading late there before he passed me, and then we all come down and take tires. I really think if I or Jason or Nick Gardner, whoever, restarted out front there at the end, they were going to win it. It's that hard to pass behind dirty air. So, congrats to Jason. Sucks for Dylan Zampa. I think he had us probably all covered tonight, and he lagged out. That really sucks.
Blew an engine.
Feeling,
Blew an engine.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, that happens. Hey, what do you do? Congrats to Jason, though. He deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we will see you next week at Michigan, Chase. Good run tonight.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was third place, Chase Durham. Let's grab second place, Jason Seams. Hey, Jason, you got me?
I do. How's it going tonight?
Pretty good, and pretty good for yourself as well. Second place on the night. How was it out there?
Yeah, the first run, we kind of killed the tires and fell back to 6, I think. Then we got back out there, and I just changed my entry some, and the car improved drastically and ended up having a good turnout. Ryan had some unfortunate luck at the end, and Nick wasn't able to race the last few races because he's home from college, but he'll get back in it shortly.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw on the long run, you were one of the best cars tonight. Maybe just behind Fensler and Zampa, but How were you able to save your tires? You said after the first run it was a bit of a problem, but changed up that entry. And was there anything else that you did to save those things?
There is, a little trick. I know the good guys know it, but I backed out of it before we entered the corner, and I only let it drift to the black line there. And then after I could steer it, I would just full throttle it coming off and kind of kick the rear end out a little, and that seemed to work. So it was pretty good. I was happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. And a great run for you. Pick up some momentum going into the playoffs, and we'll see you next week for Michigan, man. Good race tonight.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to thank Wild Bill Soda and thank Underdog Racing League for putting everything together. And I look forward for this chase, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, man. We'll see you.
All right, have a good one. Thank you.
That was Jason Seams. Let's go grab Jason Fensler, your race winner. Hey, Jason, you got me?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Win number 7 on the season, back-to-back. Yeah, I mean, it might be more than back-to-back, but I think it's just 2 in a row. Didn't get to talk to you last week. How'd you do tonight, man?
Not too bad. Once I got in clean air, I kind of didn't qualify well, so I was in dirty air. And when you're in dirty air, you just have to be so patient and just kind of let them come to you the best that you can and not use your stuff up. And then I sped on pit road, so I had to go to the back again. But once we got up towards the front, I think we were in third there, behind Dylan before he had his unfortunate disconnection. The car was way better once we got into clean air, so it worked out for us.
Yeah, definitely. And when there's no real way, or when it's so hard to pass at these tracks and it's hard to get the clean air, what are kind of some ways that you try to do it?
Well, you try and go where they're not to try and get some air on the nose just to help yourself turn, but it just kills the right front tire when you're in that dirty air. And once you kind of do that, once you start to get some heat in that tire, it's really hard to get heat out of it. So I think that's why on long runs, you can only creep forward a little bit, and it makes it extremely hard to pass. Guys have to make mistakes or whatever. So you just have to remember to be patient and kind of let the race play out.
Yeah, definitely. And we see in real life that these guys are always riding the fence and they can drive pretty much anywhere. That was not the case tonight. Why, in your eyes, was it kind of just a bottom feeder race for most of the drivers?
Yeah, it was weird. I went up to the top to try and save tire in the first run. And then I kind of went to the bottom a couple times, but it seemed like the top was killing the right front tire on entry more than I thought it would. So that's why I kind of migrated back to the bottom when we got into third, and that really woke the car up. It helped it rotate, and it worked better on the bottom. So I don't really have an answer why that is, but I ran races there where you want to be up in the top of 1 and 2, but for some reason tonight it wasn't that way.
Yeah, I mean, you were the one who conquered it in the end, though. Great win tonight, 2 in a row, and that's some pretty good momentum for you going into the playoffs next week.
Yeah, it feels good. I think it's 6 wins because I got one taken from me.
Yeah.
But I'll take that going into the playoffs. These playoffs it's a whole new game. I mean, the points get reset, and then we go to racetracks where, I think we got Michigan and the streets of Chicago. So, I mean, it's streets of Chicago. Who knows what's going to happen? So I think Michigan's important in that round, and in the next round, I think there's another one. I think there's a Daytona or something like that.
Yep,
so,
North Wilkesboro and Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, there's two tracks there
Yep.
that Wilkesboro is either feast or phantom, and then Daytona is normally, for me, it's just phantom. It's normally a crash fest for me. But hopefully we can do something in each of those rounds just to kind of sneak us onto the next one. But it's going to be a battle. There's a lot of fast guys. It's just going to be a battle, and you just got to be patient and take what you can get.
Yeah, definitely. Well, great regular season, our regular season champion, and we'll see if you can continue that through our chaotic playoffs. Good race tonight, and we'll see you next week for Michigan.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you doing the broadcast this year. You've been doing a really good job. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. We'll see you, Jason. That was Jason Fencer, your race winner, regular season champion, and winner of back-to-back. But thank you guys for being with me tonight. Let's go over our playoff field one more time before we head in there next week. Jason Fencer, of course, regular season champion. Dylan Zampa, Nick Gardner, Will Young, Jason Seams, Dylan Walterman, Jason Bottoms, Jake Williams, and then Dakota Bly, the Underdog Racing League underdog, makes the playoffs, as well as Noah Tansman. So, thank you guys for being with me for a great regular season, and I'm excited for our playoffs as we get ahead. A lot of chaotic tracks ahead, and should be a lot of